Oh, caught you! Can't take an old soldier by surprise.
Morning, Major Crumb.
It is, if you don't mind enemy invasions.
I beg your pardon?
Didn't you get my message? Received intelligence of a major air assault. Expect the sirens to sound any minute. Hope you know where your nearest air raid shelter is.
I do recall something about that, but Major Crumb, are you sure you're not mistaken?
I know. I've made predictions before, but I'm not crying wolf. This time, I've got proof. You're looking at my case, aren't you, Wallace?
Well, I suppose I was, Major.
Bet you'd like to know what's inside.
I am curious, yes.
Ha! This case is packed full of government-issue protein bars.
Protein?
Rations, Wallace. Emergency rations for... emergencies, obviously. Been stockpiling them since the war. Enough nutrition in them to feed a man under fire for a whole day.
And very tasty they look, too.
Tasty? They're foul, but packed with high-strength protein.
I'd love to try one.
Out of the question, I'm afraid. You don't have clearance. And besides, protein bars are only issued in the event of civil emergencies. Orders are orders, Wallace.
Jar?
It's what's inside the jar that counts. Incontrovertible evidence that the enemy is on the move.
Does it? I can only see a snail.
Of course it's a snail. But what's she trying to tell us? That's the important thing.
What is she trying to tell us?
Look at her, man. She's retreated into her shell in the middle of the day. And that means only one thing. It means she knows trouble is about to strike from the heavens. Law of nature, Wallace. Learned it in France during the war. Never wrong yet. Good man, Wallace. I see you at least appreciate the seriousness of the situation. Now, spread the word. If people don't believe what an old soldier has to say, perhaps they'll listen to the snail.
I realize this may seem a trifle irregular, but Major Crumb insisted I show you this. It's... oh.
A snail? In my garden? Have you lost your mind, Wallace?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I wonder where Major Crumb disappeared to. So that's where the dog tags went. I'm sure Gromit will be glad to get them back.
Wallace! Thank heavens you made it to the shelter. I'd given you up for lost. Caught in the crossfire, were you?
Pardon me, Major. About those protein bars of yours.
Rations, Wallace. Emergency rations for... Emergencies, obviously. Been stockpiling them since the war. Enough nutrition in them to feed a man under fire for a whole day.
And very tasty they look, too.
Tasty? They're foul, but packed with high-strength protein.
I'd love to try one.
Out of the question, I'm afraid. You don't have clearance. And besides, protein bars are only issued in the event of civil emergencies. Orders are orders, Wallace. By George, this is an emergency. Private Gromit! I hereby issue you one protein bar. Guard it well, and see that it lasts you all day. Wallace, here's one for you as well.
Much obliged. My workers are very devoted to their queen. I thought you might find this useful, Major Crum.
A helmet! By George, Wallace, there's nothing like a good helmet. Makes a fellow want to put himself in the path of projectiles. If you know what I mean. You've got to get your mind off the carnage up there. Would you like to hear one of my old war stories? I'd help pass the time.
Well, I hate to...
Of course you would. I brought visual aids. I can still see it perfectly. After all these years, it was toward the end of the war. There I was, marching with my regiment across those God-forsaken